Welcome on behalf of our Board of Directors, Chamber staff, 515 members, and who represent over 12,000 local employees. We welcome you to the 2020 State of the City Address. Before we begin, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Whittier's State of the City program is one of many programs presented by the Whittier Area Chamber of Commerce, and it is a great opportunity to highlight the accomplishments and challenges facing our local businesses and our community. Today, you will hear from Carol Crosby, our President and CEO of the Whittier Chamber of Commerce. Carol will share with you the Chamber's response and our call to action during COVID-19, among many other initiatives that the Chamber has led on behalf of our members. You will also hear from our elected officials, our city manager, our city staff, whom we are so fortunate to have a great partnership with, as demonstrated by our program today. To our elected officials and city staff, I'd like to share a few words of appreciation. The times of our current days have seen challenges and issues never before seen in my lifetime and probably yours as well. What we do know about these issues and challenges facing our community is that they do not come with easy solutions or an endless supply of resources. What they do require is hard work, deep thought, creativity, and persistence to find a solution. Those that will follow me today and speak to you have dedicated their time, their talent, and their wisdom to these issues to create a great place for us to live, work, and do business. And on behalf of our Board of Directors, our members, and the Whittier community, I would like to express a special thank you to them. A special thank you to Mayor Joe Vinatieri, Mayor Pro Tem Henry Bichot, our council members Kathy Warner, Jessica Martinez, Fernando Dutra, and our city manager Brian Psyche and his staff. To our sponsors for today's event and our members, we also thank you. With your membership, our organization is a strong and successful voice for the issues facing our local businesses and our community. With your membership, our organization holds a seat at the table to advocate for you and is a valuable participant in many groups and organizations in our community. With your membership, our organization is an example of what it means to be Whittier Strong. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and give special thanks to our sponsors for today's event. They are Athens Services, Brookfield Residential, Diversified Protective Services, KAISER Permanente, Republic Services, Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas, and Suburban Water Systems. Thank you again to our sponsors. Without your support, today's event would not be possible. At this time, I'd like to introduce Carol Crosby, our Chamber President and CEO.
Thank you, Brian. I'm sure you'll agree that 2020 has been quite a year so far. What started out as a year full of hope and clear 2020 vision has turned into anything but that. COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on businesses directly and indirectly in unprecedented ways, especially small businesses whose resources are already stretched thin. While several government resources are available, we see many small businesses challenged in accessing those funds due to the complexity of mandatory requirements. While it might seem to be a difficult time to own a small business enterprise, it is the entrepreneurs who are the engine driving this economy. In the face of uncertainty, business owners, small and large, have remained resilient and innovative. Many of you have reinvented your business models, explored new ways of doing business, and built on opportunities created by emerging market trends. As the country learns new ways to do business, this has certainly been a challenging time for Whittier, and we applaud those efforts and remain vigilant in providing support and leadership to our business community. Like many businesses, the Chamber has also had to be creative and adapt to new ways of serving our members. The Chamber has been a constant hub for COVID-19 related news, information, and resources. We have acted quickly to share information to our membership about grants, funding, and updated policies. We have communicated those to our membership and the entire business community through weekly newsletters, webinars, our business-focused newspaper, emails, and social media. Through this time, we wanted to remain the sane center for businesses and the community to reach out to for answers or guidance, while also providing opportunities to get educated on a variety of business topics, get connected with like-minded professionals, and get marketing exposure. We have worked nonstop to help you navigate and survive this crisis. When the pandemic hit, we acted quickly to bring together community stakeholders to form the Business and Economic Recovery Task Force. This group has met weekly to understand the impact of COVID-19 in our area and respond quickly with programs, resources, and policy shifts. The task force has gathered information by surveying businesses, curated resources and information, connected and informed businesses through a variety of communication platforms, and engaged the community in numerous ways, including promoting the Shop Whittier campaign and the pledge to shop locally. The task force created the Business Recovery Toolkit and the Back to Work Resource Center. We've purchased PPE to give away and continue to work on ways to highlight and support our local businesses. Our chamber, in partnership with the Whittier Uptown Association, was instrumental in creating the Greenleaf Promenade, which has allowed uptown restaurants and retail shops an opportunity to move outside and survive. Thank you to the City of Whittier for acting quickly to make this happen in Uptown and for making it easy for businesses throughout our city to expand into parking lots and other areas and keep their business going. Behind the scenes, the Chamber has also continued to work closely with our local, state, and federal partners to provide resources needed to support Whittier area employers, workers, and residents. We have advocated for more funding for businesses, and just 2 weeks ago, we partnered with our city to offer the Whittier Small Business COVID Compliant Grant. This grant provides up to $500 in funding to small businesses and nonprofits who are licensed and located in the City of Whittier. This grant was created specifically to help small businesses safely resume customer interactions and operations during this pandemic and offer immediate financial assistance to ensure ongoing compliance with state and county health orders and protocols. For more information on the Chamber's COVID compliant grant, please visit whittierchamber.com. We understand firsthand that business and office closures have had terrible economic and other effects on our community, and the Whittier Chamber has been vocal with our legislators in opposing a one-size-fits-all policy for LA County. Taking proactive steps to be part of a solution, the Chamber has joined others throughout the state to formulate proposals for reopening California businesses in a logical and methodical manner. The California Coalition for Safe Reopening is working with county supervisors and the governor to advocate for safe, reasonable, and predictable reopening plans in California that ensure the health of every resident, worker, and customer. Your chamber is flexible and ever evolving because that's what it takes to be forward-thinking and relevant. The Chamber offers a mix of tangible and intangible benefits to our members, and we thank you for being part of our organization. Without you, there is no us, and a good, vibrant chamber is good for a good, vibrant community. It is my pleasure now to introduce our mayor, Joe Vinatieri, and turn the program over to him.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for spending your lunch hour with us. I know this isn't quite the same as our usual State of the City, but then again, nothing is quite the same as it was last year, is it? So before I get started with my comments, I'd like to take this moment to share with you a few words of welcome from each of our council colleagues.
Hi, I'm Mayor Pro Tem Henry Bouchot, and I want to welcome you to this year's State of the City event. COVID-19 has changed everything about the way we do business, and I know many of you are working with less help, fewer resources, and within restrictive health guidelines. I want to say thank you for choosing Whittier and being a valued member of our community. City staff is here to share with you how we're responding to the public health crisis and to provide information on current projects, exciting new programs, and resources available to you throughout the year. Although things are difficult, let's hope that this time brings us closer together and makes us stronger. Thanks for being here.
Good afternoon. I'm City Council Member Kathy Warner. Thank you for joining us for the annual State of the City address, and thank you to the Chamber for coordinating this opportunity for us to share about the great things happening in Whittier. We are truly blessed to have a resilient and strong business community, and we appreciate your ongoing commitment and dedication, especially during these challenging times. Please remember to shop Whittier. I'm doing my part. Thank you.
Hi there. I'm City Council Member Jessica Martinez, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. The State of the City address is a great chance for residents and business owners to hear directly from city staff about our programs and services, which is even more important right now while we're navigating COVID-19. Remember that the city is here to serve you. So please reach out and let us help you through this challenging time. After all, we're better together. Thanks for making Whittier such a special place. We hope you enjoy the presentation.
Hi there, I'm Councilmember Fernando Dutra, and I'm happy to welcome you to the State of the City address. As a business owner myself, I know how hard times have been for many of you over these last few months. The City of Whittier is here to support you and will continue to provide you with helpful resources and assistance so we can all get through this challenge together. I'm proud of our city staff for working hard to continue serving residents and businesses during COVID-19, and thank you to each of you for your perseverance. Whittier means business, and we're so glad you're here, and I personally thank you.
So I know that I speak for all of us when I say that we're very, very lucky to have such a strong and engaged Chamber of Commerce here in Whittier. Thank you to Carol, the Chamber staff, the Board of Directors for bringing us all together today and for your tireless dedication and advocacy on behalf of Whittier's business community. Although this is a challenging time in our community, I want to emphasize that Whittier's on the move. We have not and will not allow COVID-19 to keep us from connecting with one another, enjoying our friendships and what we have together here in Whittier. And although we're wearing masks, we're practicing physical distancing and having to do some things differently, the people of Whittier have continued to work together to adapt in the face of adversity and to get back to business. Now, if you haven't seen a neighbor or regular acquaintance, take the time to please reach out by text, email, telephone, or safely in person. Let people know that we care for them. That's the Whittier way. I'm concerned that many people will become, fearful and afraid to step out of their residence. Of course, if you're physically infirm, it's prudent and it's good to stay at home. But if we properly mask and we distance, there's no reason why we can't enjoy all the friendships, all the good things that we have here in Whittier. So thank you to all of you for your commitment to doing just that. And I can assure you that city staff is busy looking for new and innovative ways to continue providing you with safe, engaging opportunities and activities in the months ahead. As many of you know, the mayor's priorities, they remain public safety, economic development and jobs, and staying true to Whittier's values. Thank you to our police. I'm proud of the strides we've made to support and staff the Whittier Police Department this year. We will not defund, we will defend the Whittier Police Department. And thank you to our firefighters as well. Due to an increase in population at the Groves that we're going to have, we'll likely need to look at adding some fire service to this area as well. And we need to start that discussion. And importantly, Proposition 20, Keep California Safe. It's on the November ballot, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about that to come. So part of our annual economic development strategy will again focus on the city's partnership with PIH Health and potential expansion opportunities. We're going to continue to look to create innovative jobs in biotech, medical R&D, healthcare industry in the area surrounding the hospital. I'd like us to see a people mover in the near future that would tie Whittier's lifestyle centers, our job hubs, all together to make shopping, dining, entertainment, work locations more accessible to residents and visitors alike. The Gold Line will also tie into the people mover, and the Gold Line, it's just been a critical win for Whittier and transit-oriented housing development opportunities. We need to keep moving the Gold Line forward. And as always, we will continue supporting businesses, restaurants in Uptown Whittier, shaping it as a destination attraction and working collaboratively with the Uptown Association and the Uptown Improvement Association to enhance the area. And this includes our Greenleaf Promenade and outdoor dine and shop program. We'll be discussing how this works after the fall season at the first council meeting in October. Have you gone to check it out yet? You need to do that. So we know this has been a lifeline for many of Uptown, and we're glad that the community has embraced it, even amidst public health restrictions. So as a city, we're also committed to furthering the values that our community holds dear: respect, responsibility, caring for others. I'm proud of our council. I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of the vending volunteers and the Salvation Army on the tremendous amount of time and effort that has gone into opening a temporary emergency shelter at the senior center. Coordinating housing for all of Whittier's residents is a top priority, and our ability to provide shelter beds, meals, and support services to those in need is something to be celebrated. I say celebrated. We're going to continue to look for opportunities to assist those experiencing homelessness as we near the opening of a more comprehensive navigation center on Pickering early next year. And in a final call to action, I encourage each of us to support the mission of our local nonprofit organizations and faith communities, which is to be and which is supportive of service to our people. These groups, they're doing tireless work. They're caring and supporting our most vulnerable residents, and I appreciate their ongoing contributions to our community. This is who we are. This is what makes Whittier, Whittier. So thank you. With that, I want to now introduce to you our new Whittier City Manager, Brian Psyche. Here's Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Carol, Brian, and everybody else involved at the Chamber of Commerce, but mostly thank you all for joining us today. I've been the city manager here for 9 months, and I think we can all agree in the past 6 months we've experienced a time that we will probably never experience again, and it's changed our lives in many, many ways. And so because of that, the normal way that we present the state of the city, Carol and I in the Chamber decided let's do something a little bit different this year, and I felt that it was really important that the community, you all, get to meet the staff, the incredible staff that provide the services that you expect and are deserved in this community. And so today, what we're going to do is each department head is going to provide a presentation to you all about the things going on in their respective departments. It'll give you a chance to see them, meet them, and hopefully you'll see them in town, and you can say, hey, I saw you on TV. I have a question about this, or great job doing that. So it's going to be a little different. So what are we going to talk about today? Again, there's our Whittier City Council. Top left, Mayor Joe Vinatieri. To his right, Councilmember or Mayor Pro Tem Henry Bouchot, and then we have Council Members Warner, Martinez, and Dutra. So what are we talking about today? We are going to talk about our executive team and values. We're going to give you a COVID-19 update and an associated Whittier recovery plan. We're going to talk about our community priorities, as Mayor Joe had mentioned, Measure W, homelessness, the Gold Line, the library renovation and programming. We're going to give you all a budget update, city projects and infrastructure, a development update, community programming and park improvements, an election reminder, and then at the end of the presentation, we're going to allow for some questions and answer. I believe some have been submitted, and so we're going to answer those. You have the whole group here today to respond to those questions. So let's get started here. This is your executive team. And before we start here, I can say this. I have worked in several communities before coming to Whittier. And I would say that this group that you see in front of you today, they're all unbelievable. Diverse, hardworking, can-do attitude, incredible people, just in general. And I can say this, that trickles down to everybody that works in this organization. And so while it's the group that's going to be presenting you the information today, it is really the hard work of our line level staff that most of you interact with every day. So a special thank you to them as well. So to my right is Shannon DeLong. She is your assistant city manager. Starting on the bottom row from the left-hand side, Aviv Bar, he is our interim police chief. Monica Lowe, she's our administrative services director. Rigo Garcia, city clerk. Virginia Santana, Director of Parks and Recreation, Community Services. Kyle Kaysen, Director of Public Works. Paimani Maksudi, she is your librarian. And Jeff Adams is Director of Community Development. So let's talk about our values. Ensuring long-term fiscal sustainability. Whittier was incorporated in 1898. That was a value then, and that will continue to be a value in perpetuity, for obvious reasons. Without fiscal sustainability, we don't exist to be a city, and so that's always in our minds and always in every kind of thought, thing that we do, program we provide, service we provide to the community. That's always in the forefront of our decision making. Public safety. As I think a lot of you would attest to out there, when we polled the community for Measure W, the number one priority was to maintain public safety, so that obviously is a priority. Maintain and enhance the quality of life. That is a value that stretches amongst every department. That is not specifically related to one specific thing that we do every day. We all keep that in the back of our minds, and we all understand that everything that we do here is to enhance the quality of life for those that live, work, and play in the city of Whittier. Transparent over government. In today's day and age, with the things that are going on around us and the communities around us, Whittier holds itself to a much higher standard. And so as you will see later on in today's presentation, we have programs and projects and information technology and things that we're going to implement that are going to provide better access, quicker access, truer access to the public so that there is no issues with transparency and open government in the city of Whittier. And last, certainly not least, is to promote a strong local economic base. And that stretches into how we keep the lights on at the city from a finance perspective. It also is our obligation to provide good quality jobs in the city. As you can see from the diverse employment sector we have hospitals, we have retail, lots of residential, lots of other business sectors in town that really make Whittier an incredible economic base and engine for the region. So let's talk a little bit about COVID. First, you're going to hear a lot about COVID today, mainly because it's affected us in so many different ways. But let me first start by saying I can't tell you how appreciative and how thankful we all are for your help in dealing with COVID, for your resiliency, for your willingness to adapt, to pivot. Every day it seems like things are changing with COVID. And we're coming out with new rules, new regulations. Businesses are opening, businesses are closing. It's been a horrific last 6 months. But I will say this community has been unbelievably receptive. So thank you for that, and let's continue to do that. That being said, I'd also like to thank our staff again for the same resiliency, the same ability to pivot and do different things in different ways. A perfect example is our summer programming. We didn't want to cancel our summer program. That is a big thing for this community, probably the most significant time of the year for this community. But instead of saying, oh, we'll just cancel it and kind of go back to our offices and think about other things, we pivoted. And you'll hear today from Virginia and her staff that we're doing things in a different way. And it's been an incredible experience for us all. We're providing services and things that no other community is, and so for that I'm very proud. There is some good news, however, and for those of you that are watching the news, the cases in LA County are declining. We're getting closer to that red sector, which is going to allow more business to open and more things for us to do, right? As opposed to being in this kind of quasi-lockdown state. So there's good news, but we have to stay vigilant. What we're doing now is working. Maintain social distancing, masks, all of those things are very, very important to continue to make priority in your lives. So enough from me. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the city's hardest working business development manager, Katie Galvin-Shevadovich. But before she comes out here, I would like to say and personally thank Katie. Katie put this presentation together for us all. And so what you're going to be seeing today is really the fruits of Katie's hard work. And so while she wasn't on that slide 2 or 3 slides ago, Katie's really been instrumental in getting this all together and quite frankly, the lead of our COVID effort and all of those things. So with that, Katie.
Thank you, Mr. Psyche, for the introduction, and I know I speak for all of us when I say how thrilled and excited we are to have you at the helm. I'm happy to be here to discuss the city's response to COVID-19 and how we're working to support our Whittier businesses. The coronavirus took us all by surprise, and this has been a real all-hands-on-deck moment for our community. Current public health orders and mitigation efforts have forced all local governments to suspend service, close facilities, and prioritize the safety of our residents and businesses. During this time, Whittier has ensured that all of our essential services have continued without interruption, and staff has been quick to adapt in order to provide many of our regular services in a safe and efficient manner. The public is encouraged to obtain permits and take care of billing and payments online whenever possible, and to make appointments in advance when planning to visit City Hall. And although our community centers and library have been closed for in-person service, city staff has been busy creating new programming and offering support for youth and seniors, something that my colleagues will share more about in a few minutes. At the onset of the pandemic, the Whittier City Council approved a Whittier Recovery Plan comprised of various services and programs designed to assist those experiencing hardship. The plan can be amended or added to as we continue to navigate COVID-19 and its effects on our business community. In March, the council adopted a local eviction moratorium allowing residents who have been unable to pay their rent to stay in their homes. This moratorium has remained in place, and under AB 3088, signed into law by the governor on August 31st, will extend this through September 30th. Additionally, under the provisions of the new bill, renters statewide will not be evicted through January 31st, 2021, as long as they can pay at least 25% of their rent and file a declaration with their landlord attesting that they are suffering financial hardship. The city is also offering a 30% reduction in business license fees for new and renewing local businesses. Our Community Development Department has established a new program that allows local residents and business owners to take advantage of a 25% rebate on the final cost of their building permits if they can show that 50% or more of their materials, services, or labor was obtained through local Whittier businesses or providers. As part of the city's ongoing Shop Whittier campaign, we hope the program incentivizes those doing remodels or completing renovations to buy and hire locally, showing support for fellow Whittier businesses when they need it the most. The City Council also moved to increase the city's buy local vendor policy from 2% to 10%, meaning that local Whittier vendors providing services to the city who fall within 10% of the lowest bid will be favored. The city's also established 2 emergency grant programs through partnerships with our local business associations in order to provide financial assistance for our local businesses. The city contributed $20,000 to kickstart funding for the Unity in the Uptown Community COVID-19 Relief Grant Program, which has been facilitated by the Whittier Uptown Association in partnership with the Whittier Sunrise Rotary Club. To date, nearly 50 businesses have been awarded with either $500 or $1,000 grants to assist with the purchase of or reimbursement for personal protective equipment or materials allowing them to build out and set up outdoor dining or service. A third round of applications is set to open in the coming week to exhaust the funds that remain available. And I want to thank personally the Whittier Uptown Association and the Rotary Club for their commitment to supporting the Uptown business community. And in an effort to assist businesses citywide, the city also approved an initial investment of $100,000 to fund the new COVID compliance grant program coordinated by the Whittier Chamber. The monies are available in $500 amounts for the purchase of PPE and other safety-enhancing materials necessary to bringing local workplaces into COVID compliance. To date, there have been more than 85 local businesses considered, and grant funds will be distributed to those approved later next week. Funding is still available to licensed businesses in the City of Whittier, and the application and eligibility requirements are available on both the city and chamber websites. Perhaps most critical with regard to the city's business recovery efforts has been the temporary closure of Greenleaf Avenue in Uptown Whittier, which has been approved to remain in place through at least October 25th. The appropriately named Greenleaf Promenade was implemented in early July to allow businesses and restaurants to set up their operations outside and serve customers while under strict health orders limiting their indoor capacity. The temporary closure has been a lifeline to restaurants in Uptown who are still unable to seat guests inside and relying solely on their ability to provide outdoor seating. We've appreciated the partnership with our Whittier Uptown Association, as well as the Whittier Uptown Improvement Association and the Chamber, who have all contributed to the success of this new venture with their marketing efforts, the purchase of new umbrellas, and overall enforcement of social distancing protocols and general safety guidelines to ensure that it remains an enjoyable experience for all local families and visitors. During the summer, health orders began to impact all local restaurants and other service-oriented businesses as well. And the city expanded our outdoor dine and shop program to include businesses located outside of Uptown and throughout Whittier. Restaurants, retailers, salons, and many other businesses may now obtain a permit to utilize special city right-of-way locations, parking lots, and/or private property to offer dining or other service outdoors while adhering to both city requirements and current health order protocols. As you can see, many of our local businesses have gone to great lengths, creating an inviting and fun outdoor atmosphere, and we hope you've had a chance to experience the promenade for yourself. This COVID-19 pandemic has reminded all of us just how important it is to shop local and to shop Whittier. Thank you to the Chamber for encouraging residents to purchase their goods locally over the summer with their Shop Local contests that ran through July and August. Receipts turned in totaled roughly $40,000 that folks spent right here at Whittier businesses. You'll have 2 more great opportunities coming up to flex your local shopping muscles. The Chamber's annual Shop Home for the Holidays contest kicks off on November 16th, so turn in your receipts valued at $20 or more from Whittier Chamber member or Whittier businesses through December 18th, and you'll receive entry into a grand prize raffle of $1,000 sponsored by the city. And don't forget, Small Business Saturday is November 28th. It's our duty and a privilege to support our family members, friends, or our neighbors who have businesses here in town. The holiday season is a great time for giving, and by keeping our sales tax dollars local, you're helping to support a local business as well as strengthening many of the community services and programs we've all come to enjoy. Please remember to follow Whittier City Gov on social media to keep up with important COVID-19 updates, calls to action, event announcements, and much more. Or visit our website for details on programs and services. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people and the person who really wears the pants around here, Whittier's Assistant City Manager, Shannon DeLong, to come out and discuss some of our local priorities and projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie, for that intro and for all of your hard work keeping us COVID informed and helping our business community thrive. To all our chamber friends and community members, thanks for having us. Quick update on some of our community priorities. We talked a little bit earlier about Measure W. That was the 3/4 cent sales tax approved by voters here in Whittier to support local services. It was only 6 months ago, but sometimes it feels like a lifetime. Those new funds are going to address some of the top priorities that were established by voters. First of all was homelessness and addressing quality of life issues here in the community. We also know that maintaining and enhancing public safety is an important priority for our community community, as our innovative programs for our youth and our seniors, particularly in this stay-at-home order era, along with our infrastructure projects, which you'll hear more about in a little while. Priority number 1, homelessness and addressing our homeless neighbors. As of last night, 122 Whittier residents experiencing homelessness had a safe place to sleep. Those Whittier residents are receiving case management services. They have housing navigators helping them to find long-term stable housing, and they're receiving resources from a continuum of care that includes our local long-standing partners such as the Whole Child and Whittier First Day, Women and Children's Crisis Center, our Interfaith Food Center, and so many of our local faith providers. We are working in partnership with the Salvation Army both on this temporary facility here in Uptown, along with a long-term navigation center that will provide some wraparound services in order to stabilize our community members who are experiencing homelessness and help them find ways to resolve that situation. You can see from the timeline on your screen that addressing homelessness has been part of a community conversation for years. The council in the summer of 2018 adopted a homeless action plan that was heavily influenced by needs and concerns and expertise of our community partners. Shortly thereafter, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals established a decision in Martin versus Boise that further underscored the community's commitment to providing shelter to our residents experiencing homelessness. Once we have that navigation center open and running, we are looking forward to continuing the process of providing for those most vulnerable in our community. Another big priority, one that many of our chamber members have assisted us with, is the East Side Transit Corridor Phase 2. It's used to be called the Gold Line, now it's Measure L. We'll have to get used to that new designation. The Washington Boulevard alignment was named the locally preferred option this past year by Metro. That means that our segment of the new Line L will be identified, engineered, and be put into place as the first priority for that Measure M transit funding. Some of the initiatives that the local community have been helping on include the environmental process for establishing that design, as well as a first last mile program that will be kicking off through a generous grant from Supervisor Hahn. We encourage you to follow our social media at Whittier City Gov for updates and ways that you can provide input on the development of a station right there at Lambert and Washington Boulevard. Next up, I have the privilege of pinch hitting for Paimani Maksudi, who's not able to be with us today. Our library director has some snapshots of what's been going on at the library and what we can all continue looking forward to. The big thing is our central library renovation project. This project is going to provide a little bit more square footage on the east end of the building and establish a 100-seat meeting room along with some great maker spaces, some study areas, enhancements to the building that will allow us to move into the 21st century, including places to plug in all of our devices. We'll have some very dynamic interior spaces to come and enjoy depending upon what your needs are for study and work, group work. Some of the things that we are excited about are ensuring that we maintain our historical significance, the aspects of the building that are important to the community, important architectural features, along with the exciting new additions. So you can see some of the renderings on your slide. We expect that that building will open in the early 2022 era. And in the meantime, our staff at Central have been relocated to City Hall, to Whitwood Branch, and over to the Transit Depot. Which brings us to curbside pickup for books. Since we are closed to the public at the moment, we have the opportunity to run books out to your car. If you pick them out on our library's website, you can pick those up at the Transit Depot or at Whitwood Branch. In addition to that, we have an expanded digital library collection. You can download audiobooks, regular books, magazines, and a whole lot more just on your own electronic device, on your own phone. In addition, you can contact the library for live homework help and research assistance, and all of that information is available on your slide. some exciting highlights from the summer. Our summer reading program, as City Manager Psyche mentioned, is a major part of our programming both at the library and in our Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. We have a photo here of Senator Archuleta, who participated in our Lunch Buddies program at the library through generous support through USDA and the California State Library and Library Association, and in partnership with the Whittier Union High School District, we were able to provide thousands of meals for children over the summer. Finally, our Rec and Read program was a new innovation with support from Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. We brought the library to our community members out at our parks. People were able to check out books, they were able to pick up a take-home craft, and also participate in some social distancing activities with our parks staff. Now, for the person who helps us stay on track with all of these innovative programs, she makes critical public services continue in a fiscally sustainable, responsible, and transparent manner. We'd like to invite our very own Monica Lowe here to give an update on the city's finances.
Thank you, Shannon. Good afternoon. I'm here to provide you with a budget update. The city has long been known for its high-quality financial management and sound fiscal practices, and the department is continuing this legacy. The city has consistently received the Government Finance Officer Association's Award of Excellence for 30 consecutive years. In addition, the California Society Municipal Officers Association Budget Award for the past 9 years. As Shannon previously mentioned, the city was fortunate to have the community's support with the passage of Measure W to stabilize the city's financial future. As a result, the general fund's operating budget for 2020-21 was adopted with a surplus of approximately $509,000. In addition to increased revenues related to Measure W, we are projecting increases in our building permit fees, plan check fees, and zoning fees, all significantly driven by the construction at the Groves project located on the former Nellis site. But as municipalities throughout the state and the nation, we are forced to plan for continued impacts on COVID-19 on our 2020-21 budget, along with increasing employee service costs and obligations related to general liabilities. While the total city budget is approximately $138 million, 46% of these monies are from restricted sources, while the other 54% of the budget is related to general fund, which is our primary operating fund, and accounts for our least restrictive and most discretionary funds. This pie chart is intended to provide a visual aid to explain where our general fund monies will be spent on 2020-21. As you can see, 51% of the general fund is committed towards keeping our community safe through police services, followed by 16% for our parks, recreation, and community services operations. That contributes significantly towards quality of life for our residents through the maintenance of our open space, senior services, and recreation programs. The remainder of the general fund is utilized to fund a portion of the library services, public works, and community development departments, and a variety of administrative functions. The city has been provided with federal assistance during these trying times. The city was allocated with $1,071,743 of coronavirus relief funds, which has been appropriated for the temporary emergency shelter as previously discussed. In addition, the city received $442,921 of the CARES Act CDBG grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which will be used towards the Navigation Center. Finally, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, provides up to 75% of at least $150,000, and we anticipate reimbursement of at least $150,000 related to COVID expenditures incurred through December 31st. Even though the city has adopted the budget for fiscal year 2020-21, The budget is a living document, and staff will continue to monitor and adjust projections during these uncertain times. We will continue to review and refine the budget for continued savings and efficiencies as needed throughout the fiscal year. Next, I'd like to introduce our Make It Happen Director, KAISER.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Kyle KAISER. I'm the Director of Public Works. I'm here to tell you today about a few of the projects that we've been working on for the last couple of years, and a couple of the projects that we'll be working on for the next year. We have over 70 projects in some form of design or construction moving forward with our amazing engineering team out of City Hall. These engineers work really hard on design, on construction, and making sure these projects go as smooth as possible. We also have a number of crews in the field who are filling potholes. We have over 5,000 potholes that were filled in 2019, 2020. We have over 19,000 graffiti work orders that were completed, many of them requested by members of the community. We have over 550 feet of sewer main spot repairs. These spot repairs are identified by our camera truck operator, and then our contractor goes out and repairs these sewer mains, which helps us to eliminate sewer overflows into the street. Our water crews have repaired over 70 water main or service breaks. And these, along with other things, are the things that our city crews are doing every day while you're at work, while everyone's asleep. When our water mains break, we respond right away. So we also started on a couple of big projects this year. We started on the uptown parking structure, which we'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. And also, we started on our Lee Owens Park renovation, which Virginia is going to give more information on later on. We've also continued on our water and sewer repair projects or replacement projects, as well as a transmission valve replacement project. To start, in 2016, we made a switch and decided that we needed to repair our aging water and sewer infrastructure. To this point, we've replaced over 54,000 feet of water and sewer mains since 2016. We have another 28,000 feet of water and sewer main scheduled for repair or replacement this year. We're also going to be undertaking our first reservoir replacement project since 2016, and that's over in the Murphy Hills area up by Ocean View Reservoir. The water system's often forgot about. Underneath the ground, you don't really think about it unless your water service is disconnected or disrupted. There's also a secondary system, a transmission system that moves water from our pumping plant, from our well field in the Whittier Narrows area over into our main reservoirs. This system is long, large diameter pipelines that are really resilient but have valves that need to be maintained. This year, we replaced 6 large diameter valves with a project that secured our water mains, our transmission mains, from the pumping plant in Pico Rivera all the way over to Palm Park. This project is really exciting for us. It was a really good opportunity for our engineers and for our crews to see these mains, to inspect them, and also to see these valves get replaced. We also completed the first phase of the high pressure area project. This water main replacement has been at the top of our list for a long time. We've had a number of really serious main breaks in this area, and all those pipes in the first project area have been replaced. You may have remembered a couple of large main breaks we had in Norwalk and Orange Grove Avenue that made the paper. They really disrupted traffic. They disrupted a lot of things. We've now replaced that water main and expect it to not have any problems moving into the future. We also started on the uptown parking structure. This structure is just an awesome project for our department to have to deal with. We've got over 5,400 cubic yards of concrete, 10,000 tons of steel that have gone into this. This created 14 local jobs. The parking structure will have 351 stalls. which includes 4 electric vehicle stations, but we've also made it ready for 22 additional electric vehicle stations if they become really popular. We're ready to install solar if need be, if we decide to move forward with something along those lines. And the contracted opening is March of 2021. We're hopeful, if you've driven by, we're hopeful it's going to be done a bit sooner than that, but we're working with the contractor to make sure that that happens. For 2020 and 2021, we got a few projects moving forward. We have the Greenway Trail extension, which bids open next week on. We have the Murphy Hills Reservoir replacement, which I mentioned previously. We have our water and sewer main project repairs continuing, as well as the Lambert, Beverly, and Leffingwell TSSPs. This is a traffic signal synchronization program, which will help you get across town. We're also in design on Kalima Road to repay from Lambert Road all the way up to Mar Vista. This area has had over 1,000 potholes in the last year, and it really jumped as a priority for us. We've got Lucerna Drive and Scott Avenue sidewalks that are much needed sidewalks in areas where we have kids walking in the street. We want to bring those kids out of the street and onto the sidewalk. Signal upgrades at Pickering and Greenleaf, and continued surface treatment programs all around the city for our asphalt. We also have a new land crawler for the landfill, and land crawler is kind of a weird name, but what that really is Brian's favorite toy, a new bulldozer. So with that, we got a lot of exciting things going on in Public Works. As we transition to our Community Development Director, Mr. Jeff Adams, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Groves. There's a lot going on from a Public Works perspective at the Groves, a lot that's been completed. We've put over 3 miles of water mains into the ground. We've put 2.5 miles of sewer mains, 2.5 miles of storm drains. We put 26,000 tons of asphalt on the ground, about 3,000 tons of asphalt, and the contractors have moved over a million yards of dirt. This is a really, really huge project. It's been great for Public Works to be involved. We're handing it over now to the Community Development Department so that they can get the houses ready for people to move in. So with that, I'm going to introduce Jeff Adams, who's the Director of Community Development.
Community Development Department includes planning services, building safety, and economic development and housing services. As Kyle mentioned, the Groves is a 75-acre mixed-use project that has 750 homes as well as 146,000 square feet of residential uses. The residential portion is being developed by Brookfield Residential, Lennar Homes, and PLC Apartments. The commercial section is divided into 2 portions, the main commercial aspect as well as a specialty retail called Heritage Court, which adaptively is reusing several of the buildings that were on Nellis originally from a historic nature. A couple of the notable businesses that are coming soon would be In-N-Out, Raising Cane's, as well as the relocation of the Stater Brothers supermarket. Additionally, the Whitwood Town Center has submitted the new owners of the Town Center have submitted a specific plan amendment to revise the layout and uses within the Town Center. The plan includes retail, food and beverage, residential aspect, as well as a cinema and a hotel. The timing will more or less depend on the economic changes that we're experiencing now, as well as the individual users. One of the big questions in town, I believe, is the Friendly Hills Marketplace. Staff is as interested as anyone relative to who's going into the location, but we've not been formally informed of the tenant at this point. They're keeping it extremely hush-hush. Some of the other developments going on in town include the City Ventures 54-unit condominium at the Blue Hills Nursery site next to the new Frisco's drive-through. The Hadley Trails, which is a 32-unit attached and detached condominium project nearing completion at Workman Mill Road and Davidson Drive at the old ICC site. And also Cambridge Place, which is another 32-unit townhome project nearing completion at Hadley and Magnolia. Planning staff is also working with a consultant, MIG, to update the general plan as well as the housing element as required by state law. The Building and Safety Department, or Division, has been very active even with the COVID issues. The staff has performed approximately 4,400 counter contacts, issued approximately 3,600 permits, and completed approximately 8,000 inspections. So clearly things are still moving along in Whittier. We're also in the process of hiring a senior building inspector plans examiner due to the retirement of our past senior building inspector, Chris Dirks, who just recently retired, and we're recruiting for a additional inspector position. Economic Development and Housing Division continues to manage several complex programs, including the Police Officer Homebuyer Loan Program. The typical processing for that program is normally one a year. We've had 3 so far with 2 additional interests at this point. The other programs are the Affordable Housing Program and the Housing Rehabilitation Program, which utilizes funds from a number of different sources, as well as the Redevelopment Successor Agency property liquidation, which will address the properties that the city is in charge of at this point for future sale. And with that, I would now like to introduce the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, the indomitable Virginia Santana.
Hello, everyone. So now, before I wreck this presentation because it's been so serious, we're going to have a little bit of fun. And so before I do that, I would really love to thank my Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department for all their hard work that they've done during these most difficult times. And they've worked really hard to keep the community engaged, and you're going to hear about that in a minute. And so our Parks Division has stayed working this entire time, making our parks look beautiful, and you can see that when you visit our parks, when you're out there walking, when you're out there being engaged and trying to do your best to social distance. You could see the trees, they look beautiful in our community, and that's our tree division, although small, but it is mighty, and they get the work done. And then our community services side, which you're going to hear about next, and they're going to you're going to see how they reinvented recreation, because we're the group that gathers people, and we couldn't gather people anymore, but we had to do it in a different way. So with that, we're going to begin with telling you a little bit about how we regrouped and how we were able to serve our community and keep them engaged. We began with a Memorial Day event that was new to us, and we were able to go virtual, go live stream on Facebook and Instagram and our Channel 3 to bring you a memorable event and still honor those that have served our country. We have done fitness classes, we've done wellness checks for our senior citizens, we've done our concerts virtually, which I know it's a beloved and it's dear to my heart program, the concert series that we're accustomed to having 12 concerts at our parks, but we regrouped and we're able to bring them to you live streamed to your front doors and your couches. So with that, we started to rethink programming for our youth and our families. And we knew that as phases opened, we were going to be able to bring programming to adults and get them back to work. Rudy just pointed that I'm not looking at the camera. So we had to regroup, and we were able to restructure our day camp program and offer a safe, distant program that followed CDC guidelines that kept our kids engaged throughout the summer with programming and activities that made it safe for parents to bring their children and go back to work. And so with that program being placed and set, we were able to revamp that and add change the summer programming to our school year programming. And now we offer after school and during the day programming for families to be at work and students to do their distance learning in our community centers. Fall programming is now in our minds, and so we're going to be bringing you some fun and engaging programs for our seniors, for our adaptive recreation programmers, and we have a fun, exciting challenge for you to decorate your front doors, send in your pictures, and possibly be the winner of that contest. We are also going to offer a Halloween parking lot movie program where you could come and decorate your vehicle in your space, social distance, and potentially be the winner of that grand prize while you watch the movie Hocus Pocus. Besides our regular programming that has had to change a little bit, we're also continuing to build on our park programs. So Kyle touched on it a little bit, but we're so excited to see our park programs and our park facilities be upgraded. And so you're going to see at Grotto Park, they're going to receive a new fitness center where you'll be able to do some workouts outside while your kids are playing on that playground equipment, hopefully soon. We will also be renovating our Palm Park park course with a new fitness park course with a shade structure, so we're really excited for that change. Anaconda Park is also going to get a facelift, and you'll see some new playground equipment there soon to replace the old and well-used equipment that's there currently. And Leo's Park, that's the one that our department is most excited about. We have a splash pad coming with colorful equipment and gear to splash and for the children to enjoy. We're also getting fitness equipment. We're going to add a walking path, and it's just going to be expanded and be a wonderful place for our community. So we can't wait till that's completed. I believe the end of August, crossing our fingers. And now for our partners. And I know we have many partners that we partner with activities and offer to our community, and the Whittier Community Foundation is a near and dear one to our department's heart. They have put funds into the programming and the things that we do. They bought our movie screen. They've helped us with park playground equipment at Michigan Park, Broadway Park, Kennedy Park. And now we're going to continue to partner with them to bring you the virtual 5K run and walk that you'll be able to do from wherever you are, and you have a month to complete it. And so please look out for that information. We're excited to continue to bring that to you. And finally, we're going to get our city ready for the holidays. We're going to partner with the foundation to get our holiday banners up. We're going to light up the bridge with our snowflakes, and we're going to bring you more and exciting and different programming to get us through the holidays. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that we wrecked it a little bit for you. And with that, I'd like to introduce to you our city clerk, Rigo Garcia.
Thank you, Virginia. The City Clerk Department is, get this slide over there. The City Clerk Department is an information hub for the city residents and support staff. We provide secure channels so that we can get data over to residents, whether it's online or for our staff in the field. The city continues to provide services online to make sure that residents have information quicker and the services are there at the comfort of their home. In the past, we had the campaign statements available online and also statements of economic interest. Those continue to be online, but we had one notable service that we started adding a few weeks ago in September, and that's called the Online Archive Tool. And what this tool does is allow residents to view documents as back as 1898 that include minutes, resolutions, ordinances, and staff reports. Residents are able to access this information from home, and it also is a great program because there's also a cost-saving measure for city. So we're protecting your tax dollars by putting this information out there and reducing the amount of time it takes for the city to provide a public records request. In the coming years, we're going to be adding other document types that include building plans and agreements and other city-related records, so we're really interested about that. The City Clerk Department is composed of a few different divisions, one of them which includes online records. On top of providing online records, you know us for public records requests, you know us for elections, but you also know us for our IT department. One division of that is the GIS division, and most notably during this COVID-19 pandemic, we, in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, implemented some web-based applications that allow residents to view information that's important to them, including which businesses were open at the time, where children can receive free meals for lunchtime and breakfast during school closures, and also other information such as where to get medical services related to COVID-19. In the IT division, we implemented two exciting different components that has to do with security and business continuity. The first one deals with a cloud-based redundancy measure that would allow the city to operate outside of City Hall in the event of a local emergency. And the second one is a artificial intelligence, machine learning software that allows the city to increase its security posture and also mitigate against any cyber attacks. So these are two important tools that the city has, really brought us into the 21st century and really increases the type of security that we have for the city to be able to provide vital services for residents. Moving on to elections. On March 2020, the city held its general municipal election, and we had a 44% voter turnout. One goal of our department is to continue to increase that voter participation, so we encourage everyone to go out there and vote. In March, we also implemented a voter app called Whittier Vote, available on the Android and Apple platform. What this app allows you to do is to view your closest vote center, get vote results, and also be able to access register to vote platforms. So we encourage you to download that mobile application to get the latest information. Moving on to the March 3rd, 2020 election, we wanted to share some additional information. The first is that voter guides, formerly known as sample ballots, will be arriving in late September. The county will be sending those. And the second part of that is that all Whittier voters are going to be getting vote-by-mail ballots. Those ballots will start hitting the mail in October 5th, so keep an eye out for those ballots. Related to that is how to return those ballots. Traditionally, you've had the option to walk that into a vote center or mail it using USPS, but the city, in collaboration with the Los Angeles County Registrar of Voters, installed 2 vote-by-mail drop boxes, and you can see Paimani there next to one of them. and we have two of them. The first one is in Uptown Whittier near the parking structures, so you can go grab something to eat and drop off your ballot. And the second one is at the Whitwood Branch Library, where you can also pick up some books and drop off your ballot. And the last alternative is we also have an option for you guys to drop off your ballot at City Hall, and we will postmark it for you, and we'll be doing daily runs to the county to make sure they get in on time. Again, we encourage everyone to vote at this election. If there's anything we can do to help you guys, we're there to give you guys some support. Up next, allow me to introduce Interim Chief of Police, Aviv Bar, who will be discussing public safety. Thank you.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for spending time with us this afternoon. Before I get started with my presentation about crime and safety in the city, I'd like to take a moment and, on behalf of the men and women of the Whittier Police Department, sworn, civilian, and volunteers, I'd like to thank this community for showing a tremendous amount of support and love to the police department this year. This has been a challenging year for all of us, especially for police officers out there taking a tremendous amount of risk to maintain the safety of this community. So from our department to this community, we appreciate the relationship. We always work on improving it, and if there's anything we can do to have a better relationship with our community, be assured that we will do that. And please be open to providing us regular feedback on how we can serve the community better. I'd like to start by talking about what's going on in the city in the area of crime. And this is the crime picture for the City of Whittier currently, year to date. These are called Part 1 crimes. These are the crimes that we track on a yearly basis in order to provide those to the federal government, and that is how people living all throughout the United States have an idea if crime has increased or decreased in their neighborhood. And as we look at our crime picture, we are currently down 3% for the year, which is in line with most communities in LA County, anywhere between 2.5% to 3% reduction in crime. COVID has had an increase or an impact on our crime, and we've seen some different trends in crime this year than we have in years past. Mainly, we've seen an increase in assaults, and these assaults have to do with domestic violence. Unfortunately, COVID has cooped up a lot of people at home for long periods of time with anxiety being high. We did expect to see an increase, and we have seen some increase. The good news is we saw a significant reduction in residential burglaries and also a sharp decline in vehicle burglaries as more people are spending time at home together. Traffic continues to be our most important safety concern in the community, and that's the probably number one complaints that we get from people in the city is the fast traffic, people running red lights, stop signs, and just acting in a way that puts other people in danger. We have embarked on a very substantial social media campaign to educate the community about safety on the roadway. And also, we've put together 53 special enforcement details that focused on stop signs and speed, pedestrian safety, DUIs, and motorcycle safety, and clocking an individual driving through our city at 85 miles per hour. The good news is our injury collisions are down 25% this year. It is a combination of enforcement, education, and the fact that earlier this year we've had less traffic on our streets. But I think we can all agree that traffic is back, and we're out there, and we'll continue to be out there and continue to educate the public about acting responsibly on the road and making sure that everybody's safety is first at hand. Our officers continue to encounter a growing number of people on our street and in residences that are experiencing mental health crises. I'm very proud of our mental health evaluation team, which has teamed up an officer and a clinician from the county. And that clinician and the officer go out to calls for service when officers call them, but also proactively to houses where families and individuals need help getting referred to services. It is a full-time team. This year so far, they have hospitalized 40 individuals with acute conditions and referred about 100 individuals to county services all throughout the county and in the city. I want to talk a few moments about our department and what we have done in our department to increase service to the community. First of all, we hire the best. Out of 700 applicants that put in applications to work at the Whittier Police Department, only one ends up in a Whittier Police Department police car. We are very selective in the people that we hire, and we always hire individuals that promote communication skills and empathy and the ability to be an amazing community policing officer to our community. We have a diverse workforce. In the last 10 years, we've increased our diversity to move the department into a much better position that mirrors the community. 70% of our officers have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and associate's degrees, and a third of our officers live in the city, which is an amazing amount of ownership. A little look inside about what's going on in the department. We took first receipt of our hybrid police vehicles this year. These vehicles provide a great operating base for our officers with more room for equipment, but also are really good at gas mileage, saving the city a tremendous amount of money. We are on a huge increase in hiring at this point. The city council and the city manager have authorized us to increase our hiring and our recruitment efforts, and we are in line to bring our department to full staffing in the next 6 months, which is going to be something we have not done in about 10 years, and so that's real exciting. Some of the technology items that are coming on board include upgrade computer systems in all of our police cars, enhanced crime mapping systems so members of the public are able to log in and see what's going on in their neighborhood, an online report submittal system which allows individuals to file police reports from the computer or their cell phone without having to wait for an officer in case we're tied up on major cases, and a digital evidence management system that allows us to store digital evidence from crimes and be able to access it for prosecution very easily. I'd love to always give a plug to our 9 p.m. routine. It is something that we've been putting out to our community for a couple of years now, and it has really helped us reduce crime in the community. So at 9 p.m., make sure you lock your cars, remove valuables, empty mailboxes, collect packages, and turn on all outdoor lighting. If you owned a vehicle early 90s and mid 2000s, please make sure you put a club on it or any device or garage of those vehicles are most likely to get stolen overnight. They're hot items. Whittier continues to be a safe community. It is because we work together with our community, because officers know their community, the community knows their officers, and we're going to continue to enhance that relationship and make sure that we're all safe and the city continues to be safe. I'd like to bring back to the stage Brian Psyche, our city manager.
Thank you, Chief Barr. So that essentially concludes our presentation for you today. There have been a couple of questions that have been submitted on the Zoom. So for those of you out there that have questions, if you want to type those in the question part or the chat part of your Zoom, feel free to do so, and those will pop up here real time. So a couple questions. I believe there's a little bit of confusion about a hotel being proposed at the Groves. It's actually being proposed at Whitwood, and that, again, it is just a proposal. We received proposals on a daily basis for development in and across the town. So it has to go through a very rigorous examination of environmental issues and zoning and general plan. All of those things have to happen before it becomes a real project. So there are many, many months, if not years, before that would be considered by the Planning Commission and or the City Council. The second question, is there an update on the electronic building plan submittal process? How has it been received by clients? I'll start by saying that when COVID hit, well, let me back up. Before COVID, the city transitioned to a new permitting or land management software. And as part of that, one of the council's main concerns was by approving this new land management software that it'd be able to allow clients to submit plans and specifications and request building permits online for smaller type projects. And so the system was capable of doing that. And so with COVID, that really exacerbated that sort of need. And so it's been received very well by our clients. I can't tell you with specific numbers, but I will tell you that we're receiving many more applications online for building permits and for plan checks, and so it's working very well. A couple more things. We didn't really mention the census. and the importance of the census. And so I would say, I would ask that September 30th is the deadline for the census, and so please participate. It's very, very important for the city of Whittier, for every community to get its fair share. So please be a part of that and participate in the census. And to do that, you can go to 2020census.gov. We also had a question about the encampment at City Hall. The encampment, for those of you who've driven by, is now cleared, and that's mainly due to the ability of the city and in the direction of the council to open the new temporary housing shelter. So most of those individuals have now gone into those temporary facilities, and so they've left on their own, and we've basically fenced off the area to redo the landscaping, fix the irrigation, and so you'll see that now, and then next few months the grass will be green there again. A couple more questions here. When will the uptown parking structure be finished? The plan is early January of next year, of 2021. Looks like the construction is going a little quicker than we had originally anticipated, so don't be surprised if it's sometime in December. Next question, what will the senior center look like after the temporary shelter is closed? So the senior center was in need of a facelift. It was a little bit dated, and so what we're going to do once the temporary shelter goes to its more permanent location on Pickering, we will do a full interior remodel of the shelter, of the senior center. And so once it's turned back over to seniors, hopefully sometime relatively soon, given COVID, they'll have a brand new interior. So I think that's it. I don't see any other questions here. I hope we didn't bore you guys too much. Again, I wanted to thank the Chamber for coordinating the event and for serving as the voice of the businesses in the city of Whittier. They're an unbelievable organization. Whittier is only strong as our business community, and the city is always here to support you as we get through this COVID-19 pandemic and other issues into the future. Just a little housekeeping information. The presentation will be made available on the city's website shortly, as well as on Cable Channel 3 for those who couldn't be with us today. Again, on behalf of myself and our staff, the City Council, thank you very much. We hope it was informative and that you see us on the street, pull us over and say hello and ask questions and let us know what you're thinking. Thank you very much. Have a great day.